I haven't done one of these in a really long time, so let's see if I can do this. So this is my rotation. My orientation is locked, and I need to rotate the device. So does that mean that if I do it like this? Try to let's try to keep this down. Here we go. Hi guys! I haven't gone live on YouTube in a really long time, so I thought today I would just share a little bit about what I'm reading and what I've been thinking and what I've been doing about books in the last few days. So, hi. Lunchtime Live. Maybe a new series that we're going to start over here. That would be cool, right? Just for a few minutes, just to get everyone caught up on what we're reading and what we're thinking about in terms of books. So, since the year started, and just in case you don't, hi Fatima. So if you don't watch my videos, otherwise you might not know, I have a goal to read 150 books this year, and last year I had the same goal and I didn't meet it. So this year I'm trying to read more and faster, but not really sure if we're doing that so well yet. So since the year started, today is what, February. Today's Friday the 13th. So I finished 3 books. I am behind that schedule, but let's chat a little bit about the books that I finished. Finished Glory. This was nominated for the Booker Prize, and I think this book deserves all the attention that it has garnered. It is a fantastic read. It's a fantastic read. It's about it's socio-political, I suppose. It is about a fictional Zimbabwe. The author is a Zimbabwean woman, and she's writing a little bit about the change in government from Mugabe to other, and she's talking about it in terms of the people being animals. So she's given these characters animal names and animal tendencies, but in a lot of ways they're also still representative and reflective of their human characteristics. So it's it's interesting. It's a really interesting book. There's a lot of repetition, and so other people that I have heard talk about the book say it's great as an audio experience, which I don't consume a lot of audiobooks. Maybe at some point I'll revisit that. But this is a really moving story because we're getting the perspective of lots of different characters, and we don't follow the same character all the way through the story. So in the beginning you kind of get a little bit of a sympathetic bent towards the people in administration, the the horse and the donkey, the horse who is the leader of the country, and the donkey who is his wife, and how how they talk about themselves, how they talk about each other, and how other people talk about them. And as the narrative progresses, the perspectives shift. So you read a little bit from the perspective of the person who wants to take over leadership, and then you learn from people who are impacted by what's going on as the leadership changes. People who, I guess, when an administration or a leader thinks about providing for every man, in America we talk about the Joe, was it Joe the plumber? A few election cycles ago. The every man, the every woman. Who do we picture when we are talking or planning for that person? And so as this book continues, we get a little bit of the perspective of those people, how they're impacted. Um, you know, yeah, it's a really great experience of a book. So definitely pick this one up if you are thinking about it, and if you hadn't thought about it. I'm asking you to put it on your radar. The cover is also really beautiful. I love that. So the horse is supposed to be a leader, but that's a pig on top of the sun, right? The glory comes through this book, comes through this work in many different ways. There's the glory that we are looking for, the praise that people are looking for, and then of course there's the praise and honor that's due to God. Glory to God. And yeah, lots of different places where glory comes up. And one thing that I really, really love about this book is that the author's earlier work, We Need New Names, comes in this book as a title, as a subtitle, and it means something completely different in this work. So yeah, highly, highly recommend this one. It wasn't a 5-star read for me just because I feel like there are some things that I wanted a little bit more from, but it's a brilliant work. Brilliant work. So yeah. I also read Matilda, Roald Dahl's Matilda children's book. Yeah, I read children's books these days because I am preparing for when I am reading these books with my daughter. She right now is a reader. She's 3. Um, she loves to read. She loves books. Last night we had an episode because this is lunchtime chats, right? So story time. We had a little bit of an episode last night because she needed to go to sleep. It was way past her bedtime. I'm talking like hours past her bedtime, right? And she wasn't sleepy, and she was like, "I want to read a book," and I shouted at her. I know that's off brand because I'm like, "You need to go to sleep now," and she was crying because she wants to read. So how can I not let her read? So of course I had to give her her book, her bedtime story, so she could read, and eventually she fell asleep reading. But that's an aside. So yeah, Matilda. I read Matilda and I love it. If you haven't already read Matilda, Roald Dahl's Matilda children's work, so it's deep, but it's not that deep. Like it touches on a lot of subjects and a lot of issues, but doesn't go very deep into anything. So there's a little bit of a discussion of children being abused by their parents and what emotional and verbal abuse looks like, and how children retaliate because in children's books, children are their own heroes and heroines. Heroes, let's call them heroes, right? Um, and sometimes they get help, or they have a, is it a counterpart, someone who champions for them but also needs help. So a little bit of how the child can help but also needs help from the same person that they're helping. So it's a little bit about community and what community building looks like and how it's experienced. So I love that book, Matilda, Roald Dahl. This I think is my first Roald Dahl read, so I want to read more from him. I know James and the Giant Peach is on my list. I'm tempted to say Charlotte's Web, but that's E.B. White. I'm just thinking like pictures in my mind. What other Roald Dahl books should I be reading? So yeah, but definitely going to read more from that author because why not? Really, really love Matilda. And then this is the book that I just finished this one today, and this was fantastic. This is Brown Girl by Daphne Palasi Andreades, and this is about the life and experience of women of color in Queens, specifically in Queens, New York, but women of color at any place. And what I love about the book, the standout things about this book is that it is second person narrative. So the author speaks in terms of we. And so she talks about the lots of different experiences and possibilities and potentials of these girls, daughters of immigrant families, and what their parents want for them and what they want for themselves, and how their lives and their friendships and their dreams morph and change, and how it's lived. We meet these girls when they are children, and we follow them, follow their friendships, follow their stories as they grow up and become like the mothers, like the older women in their families. And kind of that full circle. I love how the book is relevant, it's very timely. So it speaks about a lot of the issues that immigrant families and specifically women, because this is, like I said, brown girls. So it speaks a little bit about, or speaks a lot about how life is lived and experienced by women of color. But how these women, how they change, how what they want to change. And yeah, because I lost my train of thought. So yeah, it also encompasses some very timely events. So it includes COVID-19 experience, lockdown, pandemic, but it's bigger than just 2020 and 2020 to present. It is the experience of women lived in this time. So really, really love this. When I started reading it, I felt like it was a 4-star book, but when it was finished, I knew for sure this is 5 stars. So I want to thank the publishers for sending me this one, because I'm not sure if I would have picked it up otherwise. I did not know about the book until I got the blurb from the publisher. So yeah, if you haven't yet heard about this book, put it on your radar as well. Daphne Palasi Andreades, Brown Girls, set in Queens, New York, encompassing the experiences, the multiplicity of perspectives of women of color in this time. So yeah, those are the 3 books that I have finished since the beginning of the year. I got a couple new books from the publishers. This one came this week. This is Central Places by Delia Chai. This is also set in New York City. I think the main character is from Illinois but moves to New York City, so it's probably going to be a little bit of that change. But I have to read it. I have to read it to be able to talk about it, right? It's blurred by Silas Ng, who wrote Little Fires Everywhere and Everything I Never Told You and All Our Missing Hearts, or Missing Hearts. That's the new book, or Missing Hearts, yeah. On my TBR this month, haven't read that yet. Also blurbed by Raven Lalani, who's the author of Luster, which I read. Blurbed by Aro Kwan, author of The Incendiaries. Jean Shen Ho, author of Fiona and Jane, which I haven't read. Yeah, so got this one this week from Penguin Random House, so looking forward to reading that as well. And then, because I didn't already have enough books to read, I went to the library and I took all of these home. These are all short books. These are all short books that I couldn't resist. So I'm just going to show you because I haven't read them yet. But I picked up a Stephen King book, The Little Chinese Seamstress by Balzac and the Little Chinese Seamstress. I've seen this on a lot of lists, and so I want to read it. I also picked up The Tamarind Tree. I love this cover. Look at that. Like, that's gorgeous. The Tamarind Tree by Sundara Ramaswamy, translated Anirudhan Vasudevan, translated work. And then I'll leave those 2 for last because I'm going to say something else about that. But I picked this one up. I have taken this home before and didn't get a chance to read it. This is Frying Plantain by Zalika Reed-Benta, and she has a new collection coming out I think she has a novel coming out this year. Aren't these stories? Yeah, I think these are stories. I'm not sure if they're linked. They are linked. They're 12 interconnected stories. So I haven't read this. I've heard really, really great things. So I want to read it. And then Jamaica Kincaid, Lucy. I've read quite a few Jamaica Kincaid works. I haven't read this one, and it's short. So it's 150 something pages. So all of these are pretty short. Books that I think I can dive in and dive out really quickly. And then you may know that I'm participating in this challenge. So Britta, from Britta Bowler, she has this list of 1001 books by women authors from around the world. And because that number is a little daunting for me, And I'm not interested in all the books that are on that list. Let's just be fair. I chose 10 books from that list that I want to read this year. 10 women from varying backgrounds, varying voices. And so I got two of them from the library. And the first one is concerning my daughter. And I love this cover. The other cover that I saw was also really interesting, but I like this one too. And Elena knows. And I think this one is a Korean author, and this one is an Argentinian author, Buenos Aires. So I will probably be reading these two over the weekend, and next time we chat, I can tell you a little bit about them. So that's what's going on in my bookish life. No, no, no. One more thing, right? One more thing, because what would be a live chat? What would be a bookish discussion right now if we didn't chat a little bit about Spare by Prince Harry? So let me know in the comments down below if you're reading that book. Let me know if you're reading it, if you've already gotten it and have read it. Maybe you read an advanced copy. I don't know. Let me know if you're reading Spare. It's controversial, and I want to reserve judgment until I read the book because I want to. Hey, Patrice! Patrice says she's going to read Spare. Yeah, Patrice, let's read it. It's interesting for me because I feel like family secrets, family stuff, like you should hold on to some of those things at least for a while, maybe forever. But it feels too present. It feels like the things that are being talked about in Harry's family. So not just his public life, but his private life, his relationship with his brother and his sister-in-law and his father. Talking about the death of his grandmother, the Queen. Those are things that are really, really new. And I just feel like some of those things, like you have to settle with them. You have to sit with them for some months and some years before you know what you want to say publicly. So I don't know. I'm reserving judgment of the book, but that's my preconceived notion. Maybe a misconception. I don't know. But I also feel like if you want to resolve things, if you want to reconcile things with people, putting negative statements in print is probably not the best first step. So I watched this interview. I watched the interview on 60 Minutes that came on Sunday. Anderson Cooper was interviewing Prince Harry, and I hadn't been following the Harry and Meghan story before. Like I knew they got married and I knew that they left England, but as to where they are and what they've been doing, I really haven't been following that. I know that there was a Oprah interview, and I know that there's a Netflix presentation. I haven't watched either of those things. Because again, like I feel like some of those things are just too new. Like they're just happening. You're still reacting. You're still kind of hurting from what has happened. Maybe it's not the best time to put things in print. Your reaction and your thoughts in print. But yeah, when the book came out, like it's hard for me to ignore a book. So it's probably the most talked about book of the last year. They said this has broken Penguin Random House records, bigger than the Obama book, bigger than both Obamas, the Barack Obama book and the Michelle Obama books, because everybody needs to get their hands on Spare by Prince Harry. So yeah, I have a copy coming to me, and I'm gonna read it. So maybe next week when we chat, I'll be able to talk about it. But yeah, let's chat. Even if you missed this video, if you're watching this video afterwards, let me know in the comments down below if you plan to read Prince Harry. Let's take a poll. Let me know if you plan to read it, or if you don't, say no, I don't want to read it, so I could know. And let this be the official poll, right? So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for joining me for Lunchtime Live. Maybe next week we'll actually have some food. We could do a mukbang. Chat about books and eat some good food and enjoy our Friday afternoons together. So yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me during the day. I really enjoyed this. Maybe we'll do more lives in the future. We plan to do more lives in the future, and I hope you'll be here for it. If you haven't already watched any of my other videos, go check out what else I post. I'm chatting about books and life all the time here on the channel. So yeah, Enjoy the rest of your Friday and happy weekend. Happy reading. Bye.